Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host. Welcome back to the Baseball Head, and of course, I'm watching the game right now. The Mets are in the 8th inning. They're losing 6-2 to the Marlins. God damn it. God damn it. But that 5th inning, if you watched, encapsulated this entire season. Up 2-0. Mistakes all over the place, and I'll get into that as this video goes on. And the frustration of this team is just, they play well against the good teams. They play down to the level of their opponent. You see the Marlins, they're making great plays, good defensive plays. Then you see the Mets bobbling the ball. Real no sense of urgency. And I talked a lot about that. I didn't like what I saw in that 5th inning. To allow the base runner to steal second, so didn't even look at him. And then he allowed him to steal third base. That is on the manager. And I don't complain too much about the manager, no matter who the manager is, other than maybe Luis Rojas. But some of this play has got to fall on the manager. And I thought that was really, to me, when I started thinking about that, it means the manager should be in trouble. And I was also thinking about this over the last, when the week started, that if Mendoza comes back next year and they don't make it, you have to have a backup plan in case the team gets off to a slow start next year. And if that's the case, maybe you don't bring him back next year. Is he has had a good record here? The first year was very good. But this second year, aside from the first base coach and the catching coach, everybody else has had a terrible year. The offense has been pretty good. So we got Alcantara. Now, they had this long, and this 5th inning went for 27 minutes. And you could tell the Mets they were slumping their shoulders at the end of that inning. They showed them in the dugout. Alcantara threw 14 pitches in the 6th and 7th inning. That's unacceptable. And he threw 14 pitches in those 2 innings. It's just not going to happen. Your offense cannot disappear like that. The offense should have popped right back up and said, "We're gonna get you." They had a lot of opportunities early in the game to really bring in more runs. They should have at least 2 more runs in that in this game, and they didn't do it. And it just didn't happen. And Alcantara's a true ace. He's not one of these guys that is a fake ace like some of these other pitchers we've seen. Like Matthew Boyd pitching the way he did on Wednesday night against the Mets. He's terrible. And he had terrible stuff, and the Mets didn't do anything with him. But we got the 8th inning now. The top of the 8th inning, the Mets got 1 out. Soto's on first. But nothing has worked. And even though they won last night, this is very disheartening. Now, right now, I guess the Brewers are losing right now. They're losing right now, I think 2-0 again. The Brewers are winning, I'm sorry. And the Reds are losing. And, but if the Mets tie with their record with the Reds, they lose. They go home because they lost 4 out of 6 to the Reds. There's a ground ball. It's going to be a double. No double play. Look at that. Let's get a break here. First and second, 1 out. That should have been an easy double play. And I would mention, even though the Mets won 2 out of 3 in Chicago, the Cubs played great defense. David Stearns has talked about defense, and he's had the reputation with the Brewers of having the good this Met team is not good defensively. Brett Beatty is out of the game. He hurt his side. They didn't come back and say what happened to him, but it was probably an oblique. Let's see. We got Pete coming up. Pete's had a bad game. He botched a couple balls in the infield. Mets could use a 3-run home run right here. Get back in this game. 0-1 pitch. Here's the pitch. Swung and missed. Fouled it off. Yeah, the Mets are very frustrating, and I'm not happy about Gary Cohen and SNY and the ball club because he did not apologize on Thursday about this whole situation about Matt Shaw going to a funeral. And it doesn't matter who the funeral is for. Um, I'm sure a lot of players are take time off, but might have a video on that for tomorrow. 0-2 against Pete. Brought in the lefty pitch to, I guess, Soto. Here's the pitch. Ball one. You spend a lot of time watching the games. This is you and me. We spend a lot of time watching the games. And we want to see good efforts put in and hard play. To see the 6th and 7th inning, how disheartened they looked, that is on the manager. That's on the manager. And it's the first time I've been complaining about the manager. I don't get too worked about the bullpen here or bullpen there. But the effort has to be there. The word that I posted on X was attention to detail. And that's the word that they were using in the booth. The lack of attention to detail. I mean, Mauricio wasn't even covering third in the 5th inning on that second stolen base. And he's a guy that's not been playing. He's got to pay attention. Struck him out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They show the records. The Marlins had the best record in the last 80, 90 games. The third best record in baseball. And the Mets had the third worst record in baseball in the last 90 games. Unbelievable. Or 80 games, whatever is for the Mets. 34 and 46? Something like that. I mean, really, just the third worst record. I think one of the teams is the Rockies and the other one's the White Sox, I think. I mean, that's not good. But it all comes down to pitching. That 5th inning encapsulated everything that's wrong with the Mets. Not getting to start through 5 innings. The bullpen blowing it. Bad defense. Not scoring enough runs early to really put pressure on the other team. And that's it. And now and there's all kinds of talk they're gonna call up Dylan Ross, who's a 2-time Tommy John surgery guy from the minor leagues, who throws hard but doesn't throw strikes. It's not good. I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not a happy camper right now with what I'm seeing. And I haven't been for a while. The sort of shrugging the shoulders. The shrugging of the shoulders and the sort of the drooping. The droopiness does not make me happy. Here's the pitch. 2-2 to McNeil. You got Mark Vientos up in the dugout. I guess he's going to pinch hit at some point. Alvarez is DHing tonight. And they got Torrens behind the plate. He's had an okay game. You give up, you're the catch up behind the plate and give up 6 runs is a problem. But really, this team is sloppy. And like I said, there's certain things you can't like. A manager has a lot of control over. It's the pitch. Now the back. The biggest thing that a manager has control of is the effort and the the fundamentals. And the ability to be on point all the time. If the manager's not pushing it, then you're gonna be in trouble. I mean, at least he was smart enough not to play Vientos after he botched balls in the second game against the Cubs. But it's pitch, ball 3-2. Vientos in the dugout, and there's Mauricio up next, batting right-handed. He's done nothing right-handed. I don't understand why he's been on this roster for the last month and a half. He's not going to play every day. And that's Mauricio I'm talking about. Here's the pitch, fouled it off. Why has Mauricio been on this roster and he's not played much? Just, like I said, very disheartening watching this team. And like I said, we all watch the games. We spend a lot of time and we want the team to play well and play smart. And that's on the manager. After I saw this situation in the 5th inning, I'm going to blast the manager in my way. Here's the pitch. Yep, held it up. Let's get the bases loaded. So let's get the tying run up. So Mark Vientos is going to come up to pinch hit. Mauricio, smart. Let's see what kind of swing this was. Nah. It was awfully close, but he held on. Check swing. Now giving a right-hander in the face. Vientos. But, over the next couple of days, like I said, it's either going to be really great or we're going to really, I sent that warning out on Monday that they had to win on Tuesday. They had to have a winning record this week. Or this was going to be, I'm going to have to unload on this team. I don't want to have to do that. It's not something that really appeals to me, to be honest with you. I want to see the Mets win. I don't want to have to be mean and nasty. And I'm going to have to get that way. And that's an unfortunate thing. Now, please, of course, like this video and subscribe to the Baseball Hut. And we'll see how this turns out. Got a friend, Eric Breen. He's on X. He's complaining. He's a big Reds fan. He's complaining about the Reds. I guess Matt McClain struck out again. But he's a good guy. But so I know the Reds are playing well. He only puts out tweets if the Reds are playing poorly. He doesn't put anything out there if they're playing well. So I know they're not. It's a rough night there. But so Mets, I can't use the word enough. Frustrating and really just a big pain in the ass this year. This has been one of the less enjoyable seasons I can remember. I could deal with 2023. I could deal with that when they sort of fell apart and then get back up. But this is like a slow, life being drained out of you, every night. To where they were playing so well in terms of winning games. The offense was kind of puttering along. The offense has really kicked into gear over the last 2.5 months. And this pitching, my goodness, this pitching has been a disaster. And that's on the general manager and on the president of baseball operations. And we will be hammering him if this team does not make it. Now, here's Mark Vientos, who's been basically, has disappeared most of the season. It's the first pitch. Ball one. Next up is Albert. Oh my God, this guy's smacking and pushing himself knocking himself out. The hell is this guy? Phillips? He smacked the hell out of himself. I think he is Jim Carrey. Here's the pitch. Slider, strike one. Swing and a miss. But here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. God. Night and day to what this guy was last year. This is a guy that came up in big spots all year long, especially in the second half. And he's been just a disaster this year. I love his bat, but boy, he encapsulates this team too. The hot and cold and the coldness of this club. And he's a well-pond player. There's way too many well-pond players on this team. And that doesn't help. Here's the pitch. 1-2 pitch. Probably strike out. Nope, took a pitch. 2-2. I don't like being so negative, but when you're being tortured every night, you expect the worst. Let's see a big hit here. Maybe leaving these bases loaded. This is the pitch. 2-2 pitch. Oh, got under it. Popped him up. Got under it. Reaching for it. This encapsulates his season. That's the word for this chat, for this video tonight. Mark Vientos has done nothing but reach on the outside part of the plate all season long, folks. All season long. Carlos Beltran told him last year to hit the ball up the middle, hit the ball to right field. He didn't do that in this at-bat. Not at all. Trying to pull everything. And that's why he popped up to the shortstop. Trying to pull a pitch that he cannot even touch. If you drive that ball to the right side, he would have gotten a hit there. Or would have made stronger contact than what he did. But that's how he swung the bat all season long. And that's it. Now, again, the Mets are going to have to figure out, and I'm sort of dropping hints about what I want to talk about. This doesn't happen. They got to figure out what the hell they're doing at third base. What's the future there? Because you can't have 3 third basemen. Somebody wrote to me, if you have 3 third basemen, or 3 players in one position, that means you have a mediocre player between the 3 of them. And it seems like that Brett Baty's going to be probably done now for the season. Again, they didn't post anything on social media. And then they get back to the media about what's going on with Baty. We'll find out after the game what happened to him. But this is just a disgusting display. This is just a disgusting display by the Mets. You got to do better than this. And they have not done better than this all year. And we got 3 games left now. We got 2 games after this one. And I don't know what the hell's going to I don't know what the hell's going to happen now. Where are we going to be at on Sunday? I don't know. It'll probably still be hanging there. The brass ring's still hanging there for the Mets. Very, very troubling, and again, very annoying, to be honest with you. And of course, please subscribe and like this video. And of course, so Sandy Alcantara has an ERA in the second half of 3.34. He is an ace. Complete total ace. And he has shown it, even though he missed all last year with the Tommy John. He's back to being who he is. And if I hear one more thing about Keith saying, they're a pesky team. They're a good team. Pesky is it's disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's disrespectful. It's good to see Keith back in the booth. He was sick all week. He's getting a little concerned with his age. He's getting up there in age. Don't want to miss him. He's really not happy about Todd Zeal being in the booth the other night. That was not a good situation here on Tuesday. Even though Zeal's good broadcast, he's not bad. He's not Keith. They brought in Kevin Herget. He's doing 1 count against Lopez. But, that 5th inning, boy. You want to see what was wrong with the Mets all year, just watch that 5th inning. And then to see the Mets do nothing in the 6th inning. And do nothing in the 7th inning. That ball just went off of Vientos' glove. It's now a double. But you can't be playing Vientos at third. I think we've all kind of agreed with that, I think. That he's not a third baseman, and they have to sort of figure something out here. Let's see. See if he had any chance at catching this ball. Was a line drive. No, he's got no range. He has a lot of ability. He has quite the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. But he doesn't run well. We know that. He will get big hits for you when he's hot. But when he's not hot, he's tough to watch. He's not a third baseman. I don't believe he's a first baseman in the sort of short amount of time we've seen him at third. Now, I would mention this video. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this video. It takes so long to edit these videos sometimes. So Brandon Sprue pitched in this game. I was not impressed with him. He's not quite ready yet. Nolan McLean's a different story. But Sprue is not ready yet. And neither is Jonah Tom. Jonah Tom needs to spend a little more time at AAA. And Sprue needs some more time too. He needs some more seasoning, in my opinion. McLean's a different story. I am not very trusting of Jeremy Hefner. That is the guy I wanted the Mets to change 2 years ago when Stearns took over as pitching coach. And I don't see any improvement of this pitching staff from where it was when he came in here 5 years ago. A long time. Survived a lot of managers, survived the 2 ownerships, and I just got to look long and hard with him because I blame him too on not being able to get the best out of these guys. And this is really the first time I have felt about the manager being an issue. And I didn't think I was going to get to that point with him. But after seeing the effort in that fifth inning, and then to see how out of it they seemed in the sixth and seventh inning offensively, I think you start thinking about the manager. You know. And maybe this time, maybe the next manager you bring in. I mean, how many managers you can go through? You know, and you're not going to ask yourself about the team, about the players. But I think you're going to need a change, not only just of the players, pop them up. Oh, this is trouble. Nobody's catching it. Oh, Soto caught it. Good catch. Mets had the infield in on that play. Obviously being down 4 runs. And Soto made that was a good play. He ran a long way. And he had it. But, you know, they got to take a long and hard on the manager. But also you need to sort of bring in different talent into this team. And that's why I've talked a lot about breaking up the score. I believe that Jeff McNeil will be out of here no matter what. The word I have from within somebody that works in the Mets organization, but not in the front office, that there's going to be changes done anyway. That changes are coming to the club anyway. Now the problem is with 2 players in particular. Francisco Lindor, who's had a great September, who's had a great 40 games to finish up the season. But they've not won with him as the shortstop. Got to look at him a little bit. And Brandon Nimmo, what is Brandon Nimmo's role on this team? Do you want to keep putting him in the outfield? He's a good outfielder, but he's getting up there in age. We know he has problems with his legs. He has a 5-year deal. Can you make a trade for him? Now the Reds have a 2-1 lead. Oh, great. Great. So we're going to the top of the 9th inning. So the Reds are winning now, 2-1. You have to ask yourself about the Mets, and with Brandon Nimmo in particular, what do you do with him? He's got 5 years left on his contract. He's had a good season. Do you look to move him? Can you move him? Now the money's not going to be an issue, but the term of the contract is an issue, obviously. And same thing with Lindor. Got a lot of years on his contract. Another 5 years on his contract, 6 years, 5 years. You know. But, you know, and you also have to ask yourself about Pete. Do they move on from Pete? Because Pete doesn't really have, like, any team that he can go to be honest with you. I keep hearing about the Yankees. If the Yankees wanted him, they would have signed him last year. They don't want him. I don't think the Yankee fans would want him either. You know, they would look at him as a Met. But, I mean, the Mets could be out of the playoff picture tonight with 2 games left. Because even if they win 2 games over the next 2 games and the Reds win, they sweep the Brewers, the Mets go home because they've lost the tiebreaker. And if they lose like that, then they deserve to lose. And like I said, long, hard questions have to be asked about the manager, about the coaching staff, and about some of these players that maybe were on the bubble could be gone. And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, I'm nice about it right now. Right now, I'm being very, very nice about what I say. Excuse me. But when we get to Sunday, and this team is teetering on going home, let's just say it's not going to be romper room here. Remember romper room? It's going to be rough. I'm going to really slam them pretty hard, pretty damn hard, really. You know, I'm going to hit them pretty hard. That's without a doubt. Showing people in the stands. Some of the fans are pretty. Anyway. And again, Gary just said, the Mets have not won a game when they've been down in the 9th inning. That's another thing. It's a real lack of character, too, on this team. The inability to win a game late. Good teams, even bad teams, win games late. Even bad teams can be a good comeback team in the ninth inning, but this team doesn't have it. For whatever, it's the strangest statistic I've seen ever. Ball two, but the ability to be able to come back in a game is pretty simple for teams. This team doesn't have it. Talked about 2007 the other day. 2007 they had comebacks that year. Plenty of comebacks. 2008 they had plenty of comebacks. I would not call this the worst. I think 2007 was worse than this. This has been a slow draining of the patient. Gotta run, man. You gotta run. Wow. Gotta run. Boy, oh boy. Gotta run. Gotta run. Wow. Can't be standing there looking at it, going between your legs. Gotta run. Gotta run. It's just terrible. Alvarez hit a ball in between his legs and it stayed in fair territory. That tells you when you're in trouble. But again, the Mets could be out of this tonight because they don't have the tiebreakers. They didn't beat the Reds early in the season. They didn't even tie them. Lost 4 out of 6. This entire team has to be evaluated, which it's going to be evaluated. We don't want to see if this doesn't work. And I'm talking about this again. So if this doesn't work, folks, the Mets are going to have to basically do major changes to this club because you can't do what they did in 2007. Well, we didn't win. Let's bring in just fill in the holes where there were holes. That's how Santana got to be with the Mets. And then Omar did the same thing in 2008 going into 2009. They didn't have close. Oh, they're just bringing K-Rod in. Same exact thing happened. And we saw what happened in 2009 was just a disaster. So they lost Delgado. His career was over because he hurt his hip. Fly ball to right field. Mullins is terrible. But, it's just a... So, this team is just... They need to make some moves here in the offseason if this happens. I would say this, and I mentioned this. They have to get more guys that don't give up at bats like Juan Soto does. All right? They have too many guys in this line, especially when things are down, to give up at bats. You can't do that. That's what happened in the 6th and 7th inning. They gave up at bats. Is the pitch to Torrance. I'm just going to turn this down. This game's over. But this is how this team has been all year. And no likelihood they're probably going to finish tied tonight with the Reds. But because of the tiebreaker, they're going to be out of here. Which, like I said, they deserve it. We spent a lot of hours watching this team, and this is a disgrace. Big time stone cold disgrace. Here's the pitch. Fouled it off 0-2. And to do this again against the scum-sucking Marlins. I said this for years. The Mets have to stop playing them in spring training. They play them too much, and the Marlins get too comfortable against them, and that's the problem. They play them too much in the minor leagues. They play them too much up here. You got to stop playing them. As simple as that. Let the Marlins find somebody else to play. And that's the problem, quite frankly, amongst many problems here. Here's the pitch. Ground ball. Yeah, this game's over. Thanks a lot, guys. Put in a great effort after that 5th inning. Great effort. And that's really what comes down to, the effort. The effort, the lack of detail again, the lack of pitching. I mean, Soto, the other Soto, is terrible. He's terrible. He'd been on a lot of bad Detroit teams. Even though he was an all-star with the Tigers, he was on bad teams. You're very nervous when you're bringing closers in from bad teams because then they're going to be pitched bad in big spots. He's been a disaster. Helsley was a disaster. Tyler Rogers, even though the number has been kind of wonky, he's not been that good. The only guy you can really rely on, the two guys you can rely on, is Brooks Raley and Edwin Diaz. And Edwin Diaz has been here a long time too, and they've not won. So this is something the Mets going to have to deal with. But we got 2 more games. But it's not over. Two more games. That's just the reality of it. Mets 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That's another problem. 7 left on base. Sandy Alcantara pitched 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And 14 pitches in the 6th and 7th inning. They lose this thing, they deserve to lose. Well, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you'll be able to get through this. I'm surprised I was able to get through this for the half hour that I did this. Long, drawn out, like death. But thank you for watching. Have a good night. Hope we get them tomorrow, and I'll see you later.